Dara Connolly, your fearless confidence coach. And in this video today, I want to help you learn how to speak your mind and be assertive. Let's do it. Okay, let's jump right in. As I was thinking of how to give you the best tools on how to speak your mind and be assertive, it was taking me back to situations where I wish I spoke up, whether it was in relationships, early in relationships. It was hard for me to really find that power in my voice. And then the first time I was working in corporate, I got talked over all the time, and that was really not fun. So I want to give you practical tools that will help you right now today. And so let's go into this. Here we go. Tip number one is I want you to know ahead of time what you stand for. You know, often I coach women who are going through some change in life. Maybe it's a divorce, kids have left the house, they're left their corporate job, retirement, or starting a new business, and they forget who they are. They've spent so much time taking care of everybody else and pleasing others that they lose a sense of self. And it's very hard to speak up for yourself if you don't even know who you are or what you like. Because then you find yourself in a situation where people are, maybe you're out with friends and they're like, hey, what restaurant you want to go to? I don't even know. You don't even know what you like anymore, or what movie you want to go to. I don't care, you pick. Assertiveness is knowing what you want and what you stand for. So take some time alone to get that back, to go back to what are your values? What are your convictions? What are your non-negotiables? What are things that you believe in so firmly? Could be religion, it could be the way you raise your kids, could be what you're going to do on a date and where you're going to stop. You got to know ahead of time. So when you're in the situation, you say, this is what I like and what I don't like, and I'm going to speak up and say that. It makes everyday situations so much better if you know ahead of time what you stand for. So again, if you've lost who you are, lost what you stand for because you spent years and years taking care of everybody else, that you kind of lost your sense of self, you can journal, you can spend some time just alone, in nature, come back to what you liked when you were younger and really remember that. Because when you are in a situation where you need to speak your mind and people want to know how you feel about something, I don't want you to say, I don't know, or I don't care, it doesn't matter to me. That's very passive. You want to be the person who knows exactly what you want, and you state it and you speak up about it because it means something to you. So voice your opinion. It's really important. Okay, tip number 2 to speaking your mind and being assertive is trust your gut. Trust your intuition. We've heard this in different areas, especially when you watch my videos on how to be safe and self-defense, especially for women. Intuition is a really powerful tool. You've heard people say this, trust your gut, go with your first choice. This is actually really powerful, and they're onto something here. You remember in school when you're taking a test and you're just confused, you don't know what answer to go with, and it's a multiple choice question, and your first thought was, I'm going to go with A, and then you think about it a little bit more, you go, no, maybe it's C. Usually the first gut reaction was correct. It's like that in life too. When we trust our gut and we want to speak our mind, I don't want you to hesitate. I don't want you to question yourself. I want you to know that the first thing that pops in your mind, or that first visceral feeling of, I believe this is what I feel about this, then say it, then share it. Don't overthink it. So how does this translate to life? You're at a board meeting and you get an idea and you're about to raise your hand, but no, you put it down because you start, the voices in the mind start chattering. Don't ask that. That was a stupid thing to say, or nobody's going to want to hear that right now. Trust your gut. I'd like to share something. Raise your hand and contribute. Or you're at a meeting and you're at a school meeting and you have a question, but you're sitting in the back and there's all these people and you're a little intimidated to raise your hand and ask a question, but you're just like, I need to know. Trust your gut, raise your hand and ask it, because I guarantee somebody else in the audience has that same question. So when we trust our gut, we don't hesitate. And again, this can be women and men, but women in particular, because I coach women, I see this a lot, that we hesitate. And when we hesitate, it holds us back. So when we want to be assertive, we need to trust that initial thought or idea and go with it. It's not stupid. It came to you for a reason. Raise your hand, ask the question, raise your hand, share the idea, or contribute to the meeting. Don't second guess yourself. Trust yourself. And again, it takes a little bit of practice, but when we hesitate because we think it's not perfect or it's going to sound stupid and I don't want to embarrass myself, what's really bad about the backside of that is if you waited and you never asserted yourself, people will always assume you're the quiet person. And then the next time you have an idea, it's so much harder to raise your hand. Trust me, that was how I lived my life. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be your idea, your thought, your question. Doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be yours. So follow your instinct, trust your gut, and let the intuition guide you. Let it guide you to speak your mind when these situations come up. Not going to want to miss tip 3, but this is a really good time to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so you're notified when I publish new content. And if you haven't yet grabbed my free confidence tips, you got to hit those. Hit the link below and grab those right now. Okay, let's go to practice tip number 3, which is practice often. So what do I mean by that? You know, assertiveness is not something that comes naturally to most people. We're not born assertive. We can be born talkative, but there's a difference. See, even my extrovert friends can be very good at making small talk. They like to talk. They're fine in a social environment, chitter chatters away, but it's different than assertive. Assertiveness is knowing when to speak up for yourself and let the other person know that this is not a healthy, balanced relationship. And I'm going to remind us that we need to have balance in the relationship. That's my definition of assertiveness. So assertiveness has to be practiced. And what I mean by that is you can't wish for it. You can't meditate on it. You can't pray for it. You can, but guess what? That's not going to really make it happen. What's going to make it happen is by using it. And it's a muscle. The more we say no to somebody, or the more we go to a meeting and we raise our hand, even when we're a little nervous and we're pushing ourselves outside our comfort zone, the next time we do it, it won't be so bad. So we have to practice it. So how do we practice it? We'll go to safe situations. Go to Starbucks and order a nice specialty coffee. And when they ask you if you want to supersize it or you want to get something with that, say no. Practice saying no. Say no to your kids when they're asking you for more video game time. No, not right now. But see if you can say no without buckling, without turning it into, no, I'm sorry, or no, I can't do that right now, or no, I don't think so, or no, I really want to, but I can't. That's a way of softening and minimizing your no. No is a complete sentence and no is a very assertive word. So we have to practice this. And when we do this for a few weeks, we practice speaking our mind and we practice interjecting our opinions when we have a hard time doing that, right? You can be in a social gathering among some friends and maybe they're saying something that they disagree with you politically. And you're like, oh, this is so wrong. I gotta say something. Just speak up and say, I disagree. I disagree with you guys. Again, you could smile. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing. We're not causing an argument, but that's it. You don't have to apologize and go, oh, sorry. I hate to do this. I hate to be the one to say this, but I just think that's not true. Assertive is getting to the point in a very direct way. So you could smile and go, I disagree. That's it. As few words as possible, but practice this. So after you practice the easy places like the coffee shops and the people in your life that you know are not going to challenge your assertiveness, then we move on to bigger situations like a work meeting or a school function or a church meeting where you need to speak up. You could still be kind as you're doing this, remember? And then after a few weeks of practicing and you feel like, okay, I think I can assert myself. I'm ready to go further. Then choose the harder people. You know, those family members that are going to challenge you and be like, come on, I always talk this way to you. Well, this time I'm telling you to stop. It's not okay. or to the friend who takes advantage of you all the time. You go to lunch and they order all this food and then they don't split the bill fairly. It's time to speak up and say, you know, this isn't really the way it's split. You owe me $38 and I'll pay, you know, just say exactly what you want to say without worrying about the ramifications, because people will respect you when you do. And as you build this muscle of doing it and practicing it often, you'll find that it's easier. It's okay to assert your opinion and say, I disagree, or that's not okay. And I'm here for you. So now that I've taught you some tools of how to speak your mind and be assertive, you're going to definitely want to watch my next video, which is how to speak more assertively at work. So have a look for that at the link below. And be sure you go to DaraConnollyCLUB, which is my brand new club where I offer exclusive content on not just how to speak up, but this is going to be how to overcome fear, how to handle the difficult people in your life, the conflict abusers, and the gaslighters and bullies, as well as so much more content on how to use your voice in an effective way and exude confidence. So be sure to hit the link for DaraConnolly.club. And in the meantime, you are amazing.